So you guys know that there's one point of contention with the M package on the new S1000RR, and that is the seat. The seat is incredibly hard, like uncomfortably hard if you're gonna be riding the bike for a long period of time. And I know this seat is made as a race seat, but I'm rarely gonna be using this bike during 20-minute track day sessions. I primarily ride on the street, and it's often for 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes several hours out on the bike if I'm doing a whole day of riding. At that point, this becomes painful. So we're gonna be taking care of that today. You guys already know what's going on based on the title of the video. I have the brand new, just released seat cover from Luimoto, and you guys know I'm in love with Luimoto's seat covers. Now, just doing a seat cover wouldn't make a drastic improvement on the feel of the seat. It does add a little bit of cushioning, but it's not what's gonna be making the big change today. For that, I've got Luimoto's gold gel insert. We're actually gonna be cutting away some of the foam, I know. So for some of you, this is gonna be painful. We're gonna be cutting away some of the foam and doing this gel insert on the seat, which is hopefully, I haven't used it before, but hopefully gonna make a huge improvement on how the seat feels for riding out on the street. Here is the main seat, and they have a few different designs that you guys can do. Here is the seat cover that we're gonna be putting on. It looks incredible. It's made specifically to kind of go with the design of the M graphics right here. So you have the red and blue striping right here. We got some kind of semi-carbon look right here on the side with the white, and then the black on the rear. Then the seat itself, and this is my favorite part, is their kind of suede material that they have. And like I mentioned, it adds some cushioning on here, but the biggest change that we're gonna be getting is from the gel insert. So you can see all the designs down in the description. If you click my link, it'll take you over to their website so you guys can see all those, you can order. So that's the main seat. And then the rear seat we have right here. This has a matching design. The white on the sides, the suede on the top, and then at the front, kind of where your butt runs into the rear seat, it's got the RR logo. So that is really nice. Now, the part that you're probably most curious about is the gel insert. Whew, feels nice. But we'll be cutting this to shape for the seat so that it has a perfect fit. This right here is kind of an extra foam that will go between the gel and the actual seat cover. I'm expecting this to be a massive improvement for how the seat feels. So first step is to get the seats off of the bike and start taking off the seat covers. I actually picked up an electric stapler because, as I put this to my head, because if you've seen my past videos that I've done for seat covers, I just use this manual staple gun right here. And while it did the job, it's really, I wouldn't say difficult to use that, but you can't do a really good job. It's also a little clunky, and it doesn't have a tip. So you see this is completely flat along this bottom edge right here. That makes it difficult to get into tight spots. So what I did was I picked up this electric one so that we can do a better job. And so it actually has more power going into the seat. Should make it a lot better of a job on here. And I'll have links to all the stuff that I'm using to do this whole job. I also picked up a staple remover rather than just using flathead screwdriver. So that's that. I'm gonna start working on getting all the staples out, just putting the seat on a towel and prying them all out. Probably do the rear seat first, so I can get that cover on and save the gel insert for, not last, but after that, and then we'll do the seat cover on the rider seat. All right, so the problem I'm having right now is the rear seat on this bike. Where they have the actual groove, I can't really show you here because I've kind of put some staples in, but this gives you an idea if it focuses right here. It's really deep in there where they put the staples. Even with this staple gun, it's still not skinny enough and long enough to get down in that groove to get the staples where they need to go. I've kind of gotten some in, but they're not really in well, and to actually finish off the seat, I would need to get staples down in that groove, and I'm just not gonna be able to get it with that staple gun. So what I'm gonna have to do, I already did it. I ordered a new staple gun, one that has a long nose. It's a pneumatic one, so I'll have to hook it up to my air compressor. Hopefully my air compressor is working. And in the meantime, tonight I'm gonna work on the front seat, the gel insert, so I can at least have that ready to go. And then when the staple gun gets here, it's just staple, 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 and get the seat back on the bike. All right, new day, new haircut, and I've done some work. So I didn't film any of it because it was kind of boring and tedious and would have made for terribly uninteresting video. But what I've done is drawn out or outlined the cuts that I'm gonna be making on the gel insert. So here is my seat, and I've just measured out a center line here down the middle, as well as a center line on the gel insert, and then I labeled the front, back. Now I can just lay it down. I have a little mark here on the rear, get it lined up. That's good enough just to show you guys. And I made all of the measurements for how I want the gel insert to be cut. So I have a 1/4 inch off of each side because it's just a little bit too wide. And then I have 3/4 in, and then 1 1/4 inch down from each of these points on the side. Now comes the moment of truth. And by the way, always measure twice, cut once, because you don't want to be screwing up your multi-$100 seat. Next step here is to cut the gel insert on the lines that I did, and then I will do an outline of the gel insert on the actual seat itself. So that's where I'm at, and let's get started on these cuts. There we go. If I did it correctly, we should have perfectly sized insert. All right, so it's been a while since everything that you've watched so far. Here's what happened. So I started fitting on, just test fitting the seat cover onto my stock seat. So it turns out that when Luimoto ordered their S1000 seat from BMW, BMW sent them the standard seat. BMW has 4 different seats that you can get for the new S1000. They have the standard seat, they have the M seat, then they have an M low seat, and then an M high seat. So the seat that BMW had sent Luimoto was actually the standard seat. So it was ever so slightly different than the shape of the M seat. So the design that Luimoto had created, or the shape, was based off of that standard seat. So anyways, Luimoto had to redesign the shape of the seat cover. They completed it, they sent out the new one, and here is the new one that I've got. I actually went for the black on this one rather than doing the white on the sides, as you guys can see here. The other thing is, they sent me out a matching rear seat, but it's got my logo on it. I had them do it in black, so it's a little bit more stealth, so you don't really notice unless you go up to the bike and then you're like, that's nice. So my seat, I still haven't done the gel insert. I still gotta cut out the foam. So I ordered this staple gun that I can use with my air compressor. Even the electric one that I got did not have a long enough tip, as you guys can see here, to get in the small places of this seat. So I've got that. I'm gonna break out my air compressor. I'm gonna do the rear seat first so I can make sure everything's good and working as it should. And then after we do the rear seat, I'll start cutting off that foam. Now, if you couldn't tell, here is the staple gun that I ordered. And here is a different staple gun. So I was having a problem. The staples were going right through the seat cover, but I lowered the pressure on the staple gun to as low as it was rated for. So it has to be, the operating pressure for this staple gun was 70 to 100, I think. If I would go below 70, the staples just wouldn't come out. It had to be at 70. But I talked with Luimoto, and 70 is too high. They recommend doing the staples at like 45 to 50 PSI. This staple gun right here, I went over to Motivation. They let me borrow theirs because they install seat covers too. And this one is rated between 60 and 100. So that was a little bit better, and the staples weren't going through. If you're doing this on your own, on a bike where you need one of these long pneumatic staple guns, you're gonna want one that can do a lower PSI. With all my other bikes, I just use that hand crank stapler, and that was more than fine. So it's just with this freaking BMW seat that I'm having this problem. So moving on to the main seat and cutting out the foam. So what I'm gonna do is trace around the edges so I know where I'm gonna make my cuts. I got this brand new blade, so it's super sharp. And what I'm gonna be doing is setting it to the depth of the gel and cutting along that outside. And then I'm going to be making cuts on the inside to add additional depth kind of guides. And from there, we're slowly going to be cutting away at the foam. All right, so I'm pretty close to finishing this up. Now, I didn't cut as deep as I needed to originally because the blade that I got, it kind of clicks into certain depths, and the depth that I actually needed for the thickness of the gel was between two of them. After I got out the first layer, I cut just a little bit deeper and took out a little bit more, and it seems pretty close. Maybe like a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch still to go in some spots.
Eventually.
All right, so we're gonna put the foam piece on now. This is gonna go gray side down against the top of this, and it's gonna wrap down the sides, and then we'll cut it to match the shape of the seat. I got some of this Super 77 that we're gonna put on the seat. So I'm gonna get this sprayed, and then I'll lay the foam down. is done, and whew, this thing looks amazing. The staple gun that I borrowed from Motivation worked spectacularly, so I'll link that one down in the description. I'll also link another one that also goes down to 60 PSI like this one, but it's like a third of the price on Amazon, has really good reviews. Let's get this on. I wanna sit on it because I wanna see how this feels. That looks freaking good. There is the main seat and the passenger seat. Oh man, they look so good. This feels so nice. So, moment of truth. I'm gonna sit on this. Oh man. That's nice. To get the real test, I need to take this thing on like a 2-hour ride and then see how I feel. But like, right off the bat, 10,000 times better. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think of that. Oh man, I'm so excited. I really want to take this thing out for a ride, but one, it's been raining the past couple days. It's raining right now. Two, it's like 1 a.m. and I'm finally finishing this after like a month and a half of getting things taken care of for this. You guys can get this seat cover. I'll link it down in the description, or for pretty much any bike. I've been using Luimoto for several years now on all my bikes. I had it on the R6, had it on the R3, gonna be doing it on the Grom, gonna do it on the MT-09. You guys know that I've been doing the diamond pattern on my bike so far, but I really like this just horizontal pattern right here. The fitment on these is always amazing. Like, I know this has taken a while, but that's because Luimoto cares about the seats fitting perfectly for every single bike and every single seat. So if you want to get it for yourself, I'll link that down in the description. You guys have been awesome. I've been Motonosity. Remember, life's better with horsepower. Keep life lived, and I'll see you guys in the next one.